Hey everyone, and welcome to Television from the Multiverse, the DC TV podcast from Male Fuzz TV. I am Peter, and over there on the red side of the screen is Connor.
Yes, it is.
We talk about DC TV shows. Specifically this week, we have a full slate of 6 shows to discuss. We have Titans, Supergirl, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, The Flash, Black Lightning, and I did not hesitate once in that list of 6.
That might be the first time since the season's returned that you've nailed it.
To anyone who has ever doubted me, suck it.
You'll
Suck
get
it
it wrong
hard.
again next week.
What was that?
You'll get it wrong again next week.
Maybe, but that's fine. That's fine. I think my shoulder turns you down. My volume control of my headphones is under this one, and sometimes my shoulder can knock it back. I was like, Connor's a bit quiet for some reason. Anyway,
didn't want to hear my criticisms.
Well, that does sound quite nice. So we're going to talk about these DC shows. We have a little bit of news to do as well, but that's about it. That is the show. Worth mentioning before we get going, actually, there's a vote up on the YouTube channel right now. Even if you listen to the audio version of this, there's a vote on the YouTube page which might be of relevance to you. If you go to the Male Fuzz TV YouTube page and then click on the community tab, if not the top post, then the second or third post there is a vote pertaining to future episodes of this show, specifically the off-season episodes once all the CW shows go off air for Christmas. So obviously Titans will still be a thing, and then Young Justice will be, there before the other shows come back. But we're planning on doing 2 other shows plus some Batman the Animated Series in the off-season episodes. Now, obviously, the obvious thing to do was to go into Season 2 of Smallville and Season 2 of Lois and Clark. But we put up a vote, seeing what people would want, whether we want to stick to those 2 shows or swap, when a season's done of a show that we're doing in the off-season, to switch to another show to keep it varied and different and whatnot. There might be a new vote afterwards to decide maybe what some of the shows are going to be, but right now there's a vote as to whether to swap to new shows or stick with the 2 shows we'd already started. So go to the community tab on the YouTube page, Male Fuzz TV, and place your vote if you haven't already. It is pretty one-sided right now, so I'm pretty sure I know what we're doing. But just in case there's a lot of you who go and vote now,
if we get a strong influx of audio listeners,
yes, who might change
it could change,
might sway it, yes. But you can go have a look. We just thought we'd give you guys that because we were debating well what we should do, and we thought, we'll just let them decide. What do they want?
Yeah, not our problem then. If you guys hate it, well, you voted for it.
Yeah, pretty much. So without further ado, we will get diving into the news. We have 2 bits of news. One of them feels very, very old because it came out like maybe the night we recorded, maybe the next morning, and it was the casting of Lex Luthor in Supergirl. And it feels especially old because we talked about it in the TV news podcast, almost cancelled, and we talked about it on Comics from the Multiverse with Matt because he would want an opinion on it. So this is the 3rd time we're talking about it, but it's very relevant to this show.
It is.
And that is that Jon Cryer has been cast as Lex Luthor. And you're probably thinking, wait, what? The 2.5 Men guy? That's weird. That's a weird choice. Well, you know how these shows, not just Supergirl, but these shows in general, like to cast people who have been in previous DC movies and TV shows. This is actually this is actually an example of that. Because Jon Cryer played Lenny Luthor, the nephew of Lex Luthor in Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. Alright?
Not the casting I'd have ever expected.
It's not maybe the best casting option they could have picked, but I'll give them this. It was the funniest.
Yeah.
Because I laughed. And that's not to say that I think he'll do a bad job. He may actually be very good doing the menacing Lex Luthor. He could be good at it.
It's possible, yeah. We haven't really got that much to judge on recently.
But, I mean, it's funny. It's funny because it's from Superman 4. I mean, it's because typically when they honour one of these old shows or movies, it's because, there's fans of those old things. No one likes Superman 4. Not really.
And if they do, might have some problems.
At one point in that movie, the villain Nuclear Man flies a woman into space and she kicks and screams whilst in the vacuum of space, breathing perfectly fine. Not to mention the noise is still happening in the vacuum of space.
Everyone knows that Superman has a little aura around him that lets him breathe, and he just extends it to people.
He wasn't in the scene though.
I know. It's just that's how much he extends it when he's
Yeah.
going to save them.
He also has this new power in that movie where he rebuilds a wall with his eyes.
Yeah.
Superman 4 is garbage. It's an interesting piece of garbage, but it is definitely garbage. It's pretty
I'm sure we'll
campy
cover it
though.
at some point.
It's pretty campy though. So there's some amusement to be had here or there.
Sure, we'll watch it eventually.
Oh yeah, for Influx, I'm sure. But whenever we get a new Superman movie, I'm pretty sure we'll do all the old ones.
You say when? You mean if?
It's a when. It might be 20 years, but it'll happen.
I'm not waiting 20 years to watch those movies.
Fine, if you
Well,
want to do them
not the
next year or
first
something,
one,
we'll do them
obviously.
next year. Whatever. Stop your whinging. These.
We've got to do Batman next year, though, right? We've got to do some Batman movies.
That's not next year.
No, not for the Batman movie coming out, but because it's his, 80th anniversary.
Oh, all right, all right. I thought you said we've got a new Batman coming out.
No, we've got to do Batman movies
okay, all
on
right,
Flux.
I never thought of that, but you're right. We probably should do some Batman movies in March for Detective 1000 and the 80th anniversary of the Bat. Yes. No, that's a good idea. Good idea. But that is not
Follow them.
not pertaining to this show. Right now, we are talking about John Cryer as Lex Luthor.
Yeah, okay, sure, but it's relevant to their interests.
But yeah, that's it. So, what do you think of John Cryer as Lex Luthor? Let us know in the comments and stuff. And then, speaking of Bat characters, though, we do have a teaser. We actually had 2 new teasers, I think, since last week. We had a Supergirl one where Alex is like locking Supergirl up in a cell at the Star Labs collider prison thingamajig. And I'm like, okay, alright, so stuff's affecting them too, whatever. It's kind of the dullest one just because it's, okay, Alex is against Supergirl in this reality now, whatever.
Yeah.
But we got a Batwoman teaser, which is obviously far more notable. Now, obviously, you get a glimpse of Batwoman, and she lands crouched, and she stands up, and it's like, oh, it's very Batwoman-y, right? Fine, great. Looks fine. Looks perfectly fine. Honestly, the thing that stuck out to me the most about this is how weird it is hearing Cisco and Flash say the word Batman over and over again when they have avoided any Batman. I mean, sure, Bruce Wayne got referenced once on Arrow, right? Fine. Sure, Gotham City's been mentioned once or twice, but to hear the characters say Batman over and over, when, even when Supergirl's been doing references to Batman, they have to just kind of do little pointy ear things.
Yeah, I think the closest we got in this universe, in with Flash and Cisco is, we had a Bruce Wayne reference on Arrow, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said that like 30 seconds
ago. I heard you mention the Bruce Wayne reference. I assumed you were on about the Earth 2.
No. When Oliver said it when he was when he was the mayor, he said it to the press.
For some reason, I assumed you were on about the Earth 2 reference on Flash.
I'd forgotten about that. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
The phone with all the names. I remember it now. But hey, so that's weird. And some of the producers were talking this week about how they're handling this, and it does appear to be on Earth 1, this Batman.
Really?
Yeah, it sounds like Batman's been missing for years, and because of that, Gotham is in upheaval. There's a lot of villains taking advantage of it, and maybe Batwoman's just appearing now to maybe try and fight back and handle some of it. But what's described here is Grant Gustin was talking about how there's like debates between Oliver and Barry about whether or not he's even real. Oliver thinks he's just a myth that was created to scare people in Gotham, which is why I'm thinking it's Earth 1, because they seem to know about him. This seems to be a myth they know about.
Yeah. It's one of those weird things that's like, well, you never mentioned this myth. That's weird.
They never did, no.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Batman is much better at his job than Green Arrow, so I'll accept that he's so good that keeping a low profile that he is just a myth, right? That he's that good.
Yeah, sure, but it feels weird to never have mentioned a myth. Like, hey, is there another vigilante out there?
Oh, sure, yeah. And we know they go to Gotham in the crossover because it originates from there, because we know it's the Mad Doctor at Arkham who's doing it all. But yeah, so yeah, but yeah, it's weird having them say Batman, and we have a Superman now. So I mean, how many years do you think it'll be? Because I am convinced at some point they're going to cast a Batman.
If we hadn't had a Superman in the last couple of years, I'd fight you.
But
I feel like it's only a matter of time.
Yep, I'm the same. I would never have said this before Superman, but now we have a Superman who's appearing in a crossover with Flash and Arrow and the others.
Yeah, Warner were always so resistant to having multiple versions of characters at once, and that's why getting Superman was such a big deal. It was like it felt so strange, but now they've done it with Superman. It's like, well, I mean, whatever. Anyone's fair game now.
Now, what if the Batman went missing because he felt great shame about what he'd become, and that's the same reason why Dick left in Titans, and that's how we link Titans with the CW verse.
I would love to let you have a segue, but we do have to just very briefly mention that we actually got official news this week that of the air date for Young Justice.
Oh, right, sure, yes.
Because it had been rumored for a couple of months. Obviously,
I feel like we knew it was the 4th of January for a while before they officially announced it.
There was a couple of conflicting reports that said maybe not, but the expectation was definitely 4th of January. But we got an official little teaser trailer confirming it this week.
4th of January is coming.
Yeah.
Please be excited.
Yeah. Oh, I am. Don't need to ask me.
I know, I just like saying that because Square Enix and PSX.
I like saying it as well, but when you're being cynical.
No, I wasn't 2016. It was 2014 because it was the PSX before. It was the PSX before they revealed Final Fantasy VII Remake. It had to have been.
Was it that long ago?
Because remember, it's the one they were teasing, and everyone thought they were going to announce a remake.
Yeah.
And then they didn't, and then it was the E3 after they did, and that was 2015. So yeah, it has to be 2014.
Jeez, that's gone quick.
4 years ago, I know. Back when I was firmly in the mid-20s. And you were in your early 20s.
Early 20s, yeah. I got to claim that.
And now, no, you can't claim that now.
No, now it's mid-20s.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's the news. So we will move on to the shows then. We do have Titans to begin with. And nothing gets me revved up for an episode of TV than when I notice the title is Jason Todd, who of course was introduced at the end of the last episode. This is season 1, episode 6, and obviously spoilers for each episode as we talk about them.
Do you know what does get you revved up for an episode of TV? that Titans theme tune.
I knew you were going to say it. I started coughing because I choked up in laughter. Dun, 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 dun. I can't even do it. I can't even remember. I need to hear it again to actually do it.
Oh, I love it. I love how bad it is.
Do you know what the funny thing about it is the music is so good otherwise. Like the music in the rest of the episode, there was this like pulsy bass thing. It was like an 80s slasher villain soundtrack that came in at one point with the villain, and it was really good.
Like a wood chime style thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then even on the main theme itself, in the end credits, there's like an extended version where it goes in and does this fantastic little synth piece in the middle.
Yeah. That's good music, but then that main title theme kicks in. It just sounds like this generic loud thing.
It's so garish.
So here's what I'll say about Titan. I actually tweeted this earlier today. I was thinking about this.
Ruining your thoughts.
Well, I was thinking about it. But I can't make this statement any more perfect than it already is, so I'm just going to say what I tweeted earlier. I can't wait to see this Jason Todd get his head bashed in with a tire iron. Therefore, they have nailed the character of Jason Todd.
No, I agree. I think it's very telling that the two most accurate characters to their comic portrayals on this show are Jason Todd and Hawk.
Oh, yeah.
It's the two absolute dingbags.
That's look at that. I said this when we were watching it, but I actually think that Dick looks better now, having been with Jason for a few scenes. Like I always thought the casting was a good choice, and I think that when he's not being super violent, he actually does feel like Dick Grayson. Yeah. But I think being next to Jason and actually like him being horrified that Jason's just beating up cops for the fun of it, because there's a point towards the end after they've dealt with the villain where they can leave the building through the back, but Jason says, "No, hey, I'll handle the cops coming in the front," even though there's no reason to. You can just leave. And he goes out and starts beating up multiple cops, like, to a pulp.
Horrifically beating them up.
And Dick has to come out and, like, hold them back.
What the hell are you doing?
He's like, yeah, I've got my problems with Batman, but he ain't cool with you beating up cops like this.
Yeah,
we need to talk about this.
And then he just goes, yeah, well, Batman ain't here.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, God, someone get the tire iron. It doesn't even need to be the Joker. This is someone. Get it.
Just there's got to be a crowbar in one of these abandoned warehouses.
Other positives I want to bring up. I love that they're running with this joke of. Remember last week we laughed so hard at Corey thinking, "Oh, Dick'll think I killed these people." So she actually phones him this episode, and he's like, "Yeah, by the way, yeah, those prisoners are dead." And he's like, "Corey, it wasn't me. I came in and they were like, the heads were like, exploded." And he's like, "Oh, that's convenient." Like, do you know what? Them having fun with the fact that she's a psychopathic killer is kind of funny. And then later on, because they've kidnapped the old man, breakfast making dude.
Yes.
And they've got him. They've got to one of Bruce's like hideouts, one of these penthouses, and they've got him trapped in the shower. And he's going with Jason to investigate this crime. We'll talk about that in a minute. But as he's leaving to Corey, he's like, "Try not to kill him." He's like, "Oh, it wasn't me who killed them."
Yeah,
it wasn't me.
The other running joke I'm feeling is Beast Boy being a Batman fanboy.
Oh yeah, when he finds out there's a second Robin, he's like, "How many Robins are there?" And then the scene goes on for a little bit, and at the end of it, he goes, "Hey, Jason, can I be Robin?"
He gets cut off the first time he's going to ask. Dick's just like, "No, shut up."
Nah, it's good. I mean, say what you want. I'm enjoying the characters for the most part now. Flaws and all. Like, yeah, this isn't my Starfire. Sure.
No, I'm not enjoying Raven.
I don't think you can either enjoy or not enjoy her in this episode.
No. She doesn't do anything in this episode.
Yeah.
But in general, she's still the one that has no personality. Like, Corey has personality. It's not my Corey.
Yeah.
But she's got personality.
She's got a hell of a dress sense as well. I mean,
that.
She finally changed her clothes this episode, and it's one of the most blinding like
it's
dress things. I don't even know what you call them.
The pantsuit.
That's not a pantsuit though, is it?
Yeah, it is.
I thought a pantsuit's just like a woman's suit. That's a pantsuit.
No.
Instead of a skirt, it's a pantsuit.
No.
That is used in that context. It absolutely is.
This here is a pantsuit. It's where it's like this, where it looks almost like a dress, but it's got legs.
I have heard regular like women's business outfits being referred to as pantsuits. That is a thing too.
But this is definitely a pantsuit.
The point is though, this thing is shiny. It is shiny purple.
It is blinding. Like, I had to look away at one point because my eyes.
And it goes with the whole disco music thing she's got going. She likes the disco music, so I suppose it works.
Sure.
I don't know. I feel like talking about Corey's dress sense is going to be like one of the running points that we have in the show.
It might be, and talk about how it's awful.
But back to Raven though. I think Raven's fine when she's just interacting with other characters. I think when it's about her plot and we get to the possession stuff, I don't like her that much.
Even when she's interacting with other characters, she rarely has any personality. She's got nothing really. I think the only time really I can think of her having any is in the Doom Patrol episode when she's reacting to them, like doing the robot dance.
Yeah, but she's kind of like that with Beast Boy as well. That's what I mean. I mean, there was nothing in this episode, but like
maybe,
she was
maybe a little bit. But generally speaking, like when she's reacting with other people, there's nothing.
Whatever. I don't think she's bad all the time. I think she's bad when it's specific to her.
No, okay.
Plot.
I don't think she's always bad. I think she's at best. I think she's bland.
Okay.
Which is worse than all the others, because none of the others I can call her bland.
I mean, I'm not gonna necessarily argue with that description of her, but she's just. I don't know. She gives the others someone to play off of because they're not bland. She's a straight man.
Yeah, I suppose.
I guess is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that when they're a group and they're just like when there's jokes to be cracked, I'm typically having fun with that stuff, right?
Yeah,
I'm typically having fun with that. And Jason's awful, but he's supposed to be awful, so it works, and that's fine. The main plot of this episode, though, is that Jason shows up because he got a bunch of photos that were meant for Dick because they still thought he was Robin, and basically
they couldn't tell.
Someone's going around killing all of his old circus buddies, and it's the melting man. He was going by. He's got like a Phantom of the Opera style mask, and half of his face is melted. It's the whole thing, but he's the son of Tony Zuko, who killed Dick's parents.
Yes.
And we see in a flashback that
That young Dick is still awful.
The young actor, yes.
Yes.
Yes, I wasn't talking about that flashback, though. We seen a flashback just a couple of years ago that Dick let Tony Zuko be killed by the mob because he was going to rat on them. And Dick could have saved him, and he chose not to. And I'm okay with this as a development because it's not outright killing someone, but it's crossing a line that he has to come back from, and he knows he's crossed the line.
Yeah. Do you know what the problem is? It makes me... Because we know he's killed people. We've seen him kill people.
No, we haven't.
I'm pretty sure we have.
No, we haven't.
We definitely have in the first couple of episodes.
We haven't. No, you like to say this every time him or Corey are on a scene fighting someone. You like to say they're killing people, and they never confirm it.
They had interviews with the cast confirming that he kills people.
Well, I've seen those, but there's nothing in the show telling me he's killing people.
Oh, the visuals. Use your eyes.
He actively debates with Jason this episode that there's a difference between knocking someone out and killing people. That implies to me that he does not go around killing people.
Which is why this feels so weird to me.
Well, no, don't get me wrong. I agree the visuals are too extreme, and that's one of my problems with the show. But I think the show's implying that he's not killing people.
Yeah, which
is a complaint. Which is a complaint because it doesn't look like that. But I don't think the show's ever outright said he's killed someone.
The show hasn't. Like I said, it looks like it has, and then in interviews they've all said, "Yeah, he's a killer."
The point I'm making is it doesn't make sense in the show dramatically. Giving this flashback and what this represents for his character.
And that's my critique here is that this makes no sense to me. It doesn't land because it has no impact. Him deciding not to be a killer, or almost, or you know, in the with Jason telling him he's not a killer.
There's a critique to be had here, but I think the critique's to be had with how they've portrayed the violence up until now. It's not so much that they're changing their mind necessarily. It's that they've just been really bad at showing. It's like they want it to be as violent as possible, but just leave enough wriggle room just to say that, oh, that wasn't a kill. Because that's kind of what it was for the first few episodes. It was because it was the same. You kept complaining about how Starfire killed some cops, but they specifically pointed out in the show there was dialogue to confirm that she didn't.
They said that she didn't, but I don't believe it.
But the show's telling you it wasn't. The show, by what it's telling us right now, is saying that it wasn't.
It's telling me that now, yes.
But it never said it was murder before either. I'm saying that given what the show's telling me in this episode, this moment is the dramatic point for Dick that he's like, no, I've went too far. This is the moment he regrets. This is the moment where he has to make up for in his mind, his amends, right?
I mean, fine. I get that. That's what they're trying to do, but it doesn't work at all.
The only confirmed kills we have is Starfire with those, well, I can't remember what country she was in. Was it Austria? The Austrian dudes.
Okay.
She burned them to a crisp. They were dead.
Side question. This is equally as bad as Batman v Superman. You know that end bit where there's just that bit on the TV and went, oh, sure, they're in an abandoned area. It's like, right, okay. Are they really? Because it doesn't look like it's going to be just an abandoned... You know, there's still buildings. And this is equally as bad of them just going, no, they're not killing. You're not seeing that. There's nothing wrong. This is equally as much a problem to me.
Of all the problems I have with Batman v Superman, them pointing that out was not one of them. I have a list. I have a list.
That's lower on the list, don't get me wrong. But
I have a really big list of problems with that movie. If anything, that just made me laugh because it was kind of clunky, because it was like, to me, that was their solution for all the complaints about the first, for Man of Steel, was, we'll just put in a line that the place is abandoned.
Exactly. And
that was it.
It's just not believable. And it's the same here. I can't believe what they're telling me. It's contradictory to what they're showing me. I believe my eyes here more than just some dialogue.
Yeah, but I just wanted to talk about what the dramatic point was for his character. I wasn't even trying to debate that until you had to hijack the conversation with your shite.
We can get back to your point. Go on.
Well, I finished. I'm not interested in continuing it now. You've sucked all the energy out of it.
Well,
but dramatically, the arc makes sense to me, and I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Because it makes sense. Like, again, if we're going with this idea that he's gone too far and he wants to, his arc is going to be that he like, comes back from the brink and he finds the light. And obviously, this episode has a lot of him competing with Jason and who's got the bigger Robin Dick kind of thing.
Who's got the bigger bow staff?
Yeah, and ultimately it's kind of like, Corey even says, "Oh, do you want to be Robin?" And he's like, "I'm just trying to figure out who I am." And it's like, clearly this is all leading to a Nightwing, right? This is leading to him saying, "Okay, this is what I am."
Oh yeah, definitely.
And that's fine. And if that links up with his desire to be better and whatever, then cool. Not that way it's like I'm praising and defending this episode too much, because the actual core plot of the killer hunting down the circus buddies was just kind of whatever. Like, I wasn't really feeling that one way or the other.
No. And it was really clunky in terms of the reveal of the killer. Obviously, Dick's like, "Oh, it's him." We see the guy up there in the mask, and we're like, we were confused. Are we supposed to know who this is? Because Dick's reaction and then seeing the guy felt like I was missing something, and then it went into a flashback explaining it. It felt kind of clunky that we hadn't really kind of just seen the guy around before, like in the other flashbacks, maybe.
Yeah. What's funny though is I did kind of, and like this is one of these things where it went into like bad but kind of good bad for me, was when he took off the mask and he had this ridiculous like half melted face, and he wasn't the greatest actor. It felt really cheesy, hammy B movie to me at this point, and he was literally, he had like his last victim, Dick's old strongman buddy from the circus, under a vat of acid. And I just started laughing because it was so like cheesy comic booky, despite the fact that it was so grim and dark. It was like so.
I get that. I think my problem is that, okay, he's clearly supposed to be in some essence shit Two-Face with the half melted face from the acid.
Mm-hmm.
But he's kind of acting a bit like a proto-Joker-esque style character, and it was just like, it was too much.
Joker? You got Joker from him?
In his the way he presented and his theatrical side.
Okay, I think there's a lot of Batman villains you could say that kind of.
You could, but specifically, I got specific Joker vibes from him in the when he was standing there monologuing under the acid, stuff like that.
I think the monologuing in the acid, it felt more, I don't want to quite say Riddler-esque, but the idea that, because it wasn't quite a game, but it was like,
yeah,
I don't know. I guess because Joker, I find him to be such a sort of agent of chaos, where this was more about revenge, so it felt more.
Yeah, I don't mean in terms of his motivation or what he's doing, more just in his. It was in his demeanor.
Okay, I definitely got shitty Two-Face vibes. I'll give you that one.
Back me up on that one. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I mean. Yeah, it's fine. I kind of liked him arguing with Jason. Jason's a little shithead. Jason is annoying, but
I will tolerate him being annoying because it's Jason.
Because
I wouldn't want to like Jason.
Yeah,
I'd feel dirty if I'm like, oh, actually, I kind of like this character.
He's got such a punchable face, whoever the cast for this.
Do you know what? I feel bad for the kid in the same way that I feel bad for the kid who played Joffrey on Game of Thrones.
Sure, yeah.
It's like, he was so good at being hateable that literally millions of people hated the kid. And, and you go, yeah, he's got a punchable face, doesn't he? And I feel the same about this Jason kid. It's like, I don't think the actor's doing anything bad. I think the actor's actually fine. I think he's doing exactly what he's meant to be doing.
Yeah, I didn't have as much fun as last week's episode, and obviously the Doom Patrol is still the best one. But yeah, I've kind of settled into a groove with it, where I kind of like the characters interacting. This one has the downside of like Dick separating and us not seeing a lot of the other characters while they're doing their own little
just
mission.
Giving us a ton of Jason.
A ton of Jason. But them competing was kind of fun.
Like, I liked how much I hated Jason, and that like the bit where he can't get into the club.
Yeah.
And then he just goes around the back and just walks in.
He sneaks in and then he picks a fight with a random dude.
Because he starts hitting on the girl.
Yeah, and it's like, what? You clearly are. It's not even like he stumbles into that and then it's like, oh dear, now he's going to have to deal with this asshole. He knows what he's doing the second he starts.
He takes the drink and the woman's like, sorry, that's mine. He goes, oh, sorry, I didn't realise. Let me buy you another one. And her boyfriend there's like, hey, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, she's standing there the whole time. He's not like he just walks out of the scene.
No, he stood next to her. They're clearly together. And Jason goes, come on then.
He's the worst.
He is.
He's the worst. And that's accurate. I can't fault it. No. Do you know what? I am genuinely surprised how much I don't hate this. It's not good, but it's better than that first trailer. Because that first trailer made me think it was going to be Batman v Superman levels of anger.
No, it looked cheap.
Yeah. It's not actually felt that bad. I think the trailer just put a lot of the CG moments in it, and it just felt cheap because of that.
It did, yeah. I will say, we talk about how they've bastardized a lot of the characters.
Yeah.
I don't think I realized until this episode how much they've bastardized Bruce. Like, I knew obviously he can't have been that good at Bruce.
Yeah.
But like, he's actively just being like, no. You're just tools for Batman, and that feels weird.
I mean, I've said this before, I think, but I think it's worth mentioning we're only hearing their side of this. Like, there's an element here where Batman, if he ever shows up, and he could, we even see a Batmobile a little bit this one in a flashback.
It looks kind of nice from what we can see,
but it's like maybe he's not. Maybe this is their interpretation of who he is. And
I get that. I think it's a little bit weird that Jason kind of has the same. He doesn't care, but he has the same opinion of Bruce that Dick does in terms of Bruce's goals and his personality. He seems in agreement with what he's like, and they've never met before.
Do you know what the weird thing about it is, though, is I can kind of justify why he came to that conclusion, because that's how he thinks. Because to him, his attitude is basically, I'm with Batman kicking ass, life's great. Like that's how he thinks, right?
Yeah.
Whereas you get the idea that Dick eventually got to that conclusion because he's now doubting Bruce's motivations, thinking he had the right idea before, right?
Sure.
So it wouldn't surprise me if Dick and Bruce, probably off camera, because I don't know if we're going to see Batman, but we'll patch things up at some point. Because I think the one hope of Bruce is actually kind of not out of character was when he said to Jason in this episode, no, Batman won't be okay with you beating up cops. That is the first positive thing he said about Batman.
No, it is. It's that Batman clearly goes too far in this world, right?
Yeah, but he's got a code. He's still got a line.
He's at least going after criminals, not cops.
So
I mean, yeah, okay, it's a start.
I mean, I don't know. If they want to try and like fix kind of like how bad it made Dick look at the start by kind of like just gradually winding it down, I'll take it if it results in better for the future.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's really like we keep getting like Hawk and going, "Hey, you're a bit of a psycho, right?" And Starfire going, "Hey, you're going a bit too far."
So Khalil wants that to be his arc. That's clearly supposed to be the story.
It is. It's so hard to take it seriously when they started at a level so extreme that he was comparable to the others, like where they're all on the same level. Until Jason is admittedly above the level. Jason's too far. But it's hard to take it seriously when they're all kind of at the same point. It doesn't feel like there is different varying levels. So I get what they're doing, but it's.
I have to admit, I'm oddly not looking forward to the next one. I wouldn't say I'm looking forward to it.
I'm
but
worried.
I don't dread it.
No, I'm worried.
You're worried?
Yes, because the next episode is Donna Troy, and I don't want them to ruin Donna Troy. Is it not? Is that the one after
that? In fact, I know this because you looked it up after we finished watching it, and you clearly can't remember it because you were drunk.
I was very drunk.
Yes. Now, the next one's called The Asylum. We got a next time on at the end, and it showed us some glimpses.
Okay. That doesn't sound promising, but...
I don't know. We'll see. But I am oddly kind of enjoying this.
Okay. I'm getting enjoyment in the way of watching something I don't really like but having fun.
Well, it's a mix of that though. It's like some of it's so bad that it's fun, and then some little moments of like, oh, I actually kind of like that. That was a good little joke.
Yeah, I felt there was less of those in this episode.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, last week's was definitely better. No doubt. Last week's was better, but it's not just like a shitting all over it fest like I thought it might be when we saw the trailer.
No, not entirely.
There's glimmers of hope. There's potential within. So we'll see where it goes. But the quicker Jason Todd can get his head bashed in with a tire iron, the better. So
That's season 2, though, right?
probably. And do we get a Joker for it? I don't know. It's weird.
Why not use the Mountain Man?
We'll move on then. It's Supergirl, which is season 4, episode 6. It's called Call to Action. So full spoilers for the episode as always. I don't need to say that for everyone on this show. I just did that in autopilot. Whatever, doesn't matter. Anyway, so here's the thing about this episode. I like what it's doing to the overall plot once it gets going. The back half, say, of the episode, I like quite a bit for the most part.
Okay.
You clearly hated the whole thing, given that response.
No, I like 5 minutes of it at the end.
5 minutes, okay. Every single scene with Lena and James, I wanted to bash my head off the table.
Yeah. No. I'll say there are points with James specifically where I'm like, okay, I like what this is doing from a plot perspective, but I can't enjoy it in the scene because they keep ruining it by reminding me of shit going on with him and Lena.
Because she's arranged a TV interview for him to denounce the Children of Liberty, and he's upset that she did this without telling him, and he's got to go meet the Children of Liberty so that he can, or the Sons of Liberty or whatever, what they're called.
Still children.
And they have a bit of a fight, and then they have a fight again after Thanksgiving dinner. Which, yeah, it's Thanksgiving this week apparently. TV shows tell me that.
Today, as we're recording, I believe.
Today, I'll give a thanks. I'll tell you what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for pangs.
What?
Pangs.
Pangs?
Yeah. It's an episode of the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The only Thanksgiving episode I believe they ever did, which was in season 4. Thank you. Oh, you played you like a fiddle.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know the name of every bloody Buffy episode.
Well, I knew you wouldn't. That's what made it beautiful.
Oh.
Beautiful. Anyway, so
I would be thankful if someone would take a crowbar to you.
Oh, come on now. Come on. I just think of the people who skipped over the Titans portion of the show and didn't hear us talking about crowbars and are wondering why you just made that very, very violent sounding threat. So we talk about Lena and James, and it's just a frustrating plot. It's an example of a certain type of drama that pops up in these CW shows that really infuriates me, and it's that forced drama where they want them to fight, but they don't set it up in a way that's interesting, or don't set it up in a way that feels natural, where like you can see it bubbling on both sides until the confrontation finally happens. It's just out of nowhere someone starts being annoyed that the other person didn't tell them something, and then back and forth, and there we go.
And James is kind of in the wrong. Like, I get he wants to infiltrate, but she's like, no. I'm your boss. We can't have this as your image. That is bad for business. As your boss, I am saying this is your public statement.
Even before that, though, forget that, because she pulls that because she's mad at him, right? She pulls that at the end of the scene because she's mad at him that I'm your boss and you'll do what I say. But up until then, even before that, both of them were just pissing me off.
Yeah.
I'm not really siding with that. I mean, I side with Lena just in the sense that Jimmy's being kind of like, infiltrating the hate group is kind of risky. So yeah, I kind of side more with Lena in that sense.
You probably should want to denounce them.
Yeah. Which leads to Kara doing the TV interview instead, but ends up being with Lockwood. It ends up being a debate between the two of them. And she does pretty good up until a point, and then he's just really good at twisting words back at her. And
he is the best part of this season.
Yeah, that's fair. He turns it around and says, what if we're like the Native Americans, and 100 years from now they'll be celebrating a holiday because they all slaughtered us, or slaughtered us afterwards.
It's this fantastic bit where she's like, shit, I got nothing.
No, he's very good with words, and he is very good. Because I liked the actual plot that was happening in the episode once it got going. And by plot, I mean the idea that they're marking houses and they're going to attack all these aliens on Thanksgiving night, and the team have to kind of, Supergirl goes around trying to take away the markers and they're trying to protect people. I liked that plot. I thought that was a fine little plot.
Yeah. Well, just me with the markers very reminiscent of the
Anarchy.
Of Anarchy.
Yeah. I thought the exact same thing. It looked like Anarchy to me.
Yeah.
Whatever, that's fine.
I was just wondering if it was just me. I was like, that looks like Anarchy's A.
Yeah, but I mean that was fine. It had some really hard hitting scenes. You know, Supergirl ended up fighting a dragon, which was fun.
That is the true highlight.
That is the highlight of the show. I enjoyed that scene immensely. You know, and the little joke at the end where she's like, oh, I may not have it with dogs anymore, but dragons still love me, and she's petting the dragon. It was cute. It was fun. I like Brainy, as I usually do. Brainy had a pretty fun fight sequence.
That was fun. Yeah,
that was good. I also liked his arrogance at times is extremely entertaining. You know, after he's like lied in front of Haley, or Healy, and I said Haley because we're talking about Titans and we're talking about Haley's circus.
Is it not Haley?
I thought it was Healy. Maybe it is Haley. Maybe I'm just doubting myself because it's also Haley's circus, and I'm thinking it must be wrong.
I thought it was Haley, just with an E.
Maybe right. Haley. But you know, they lied to her about what they're doing because they've been ordered not to look into the Children of Anarchy, or sorry, Children of Liberty. That was a fair slip.
My fault. Yeah.
And he basically just turned, even though he was terrible at it, he was like, I should add, you know, keeping calm under pressure and lying to humans as part of my mastery skills.
Yeah, skills that I've mastered.
Yes, and Alex is like, look, just keep a low profile, all right, and keep working on things. He's like, yes, I will keep a low profile, very loudly.
Yeah.
That was out of 10. That was good.
Do you know a plot thread I really didn't like?
Well, surprise, your segue is into a negative point.
I am, because we had a positive one, now it's a negative. You go back and forth.
Yeah, but I always have to bring up the positive ones because you just want to talk about the negative ones.
Hey, I am very positive on the dragon. I am very positive on Brady's fights.
What's your other negative point?
Nia.
Oh, the narcolepsy?
Yeah, what the hell? I assume there's something more going on because
she has a dreamer.
This has come out, and yeah, I know, but I don't like it's come out of nowhere. No, like. She's like, oh yeah, no, it's fine. I've got this thing. I fall asleep. I got that disease, and it's like,
well, clearly she doesn't because she doesn't know the name of it.
Right,
that's the point.
But why don't buy that? None of the other characters question. Like she falls asleep like 4 times around them in this episode. They've been working with her for months and literally never noticed.
A month.
A month? Is that all it's been?
Just over a month. Yeah, we started in the second week of October.
All right, fair enough. All right, they've been working with her for weeks, and they haven't noticed. And then
would you like me to go back and edit that so that it just sounded like you went straight to the week, so you didn't sound like an idiot? Do you want me to do that?
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm willing to accept that I was wrong on that one. Comedic effect and all that. But like seriously, they've been working together for weeks, and she's not fallen asleep at work once. And then now it's like 4 times in one day, and they don't go, hang on, you haven't been doing that before.
Yeah, that's weird. It's weird that it doesn't bring that up. I'm okay with it because I assume something's changed with her and that's why she's out sleeping now. Because, like I say, she didn't know the name of the disease. She's like, what's that thing called? Narcolepsy. Yeah. If you had it, you would know it.
No, I assume that it's new to her and I'm okay with that. It's that no one reacts to it as if it's a new thing.
Yeah. I wonder if it'll be, not so much that it's new or it's something that she expected to happen, but it doesn't happen all the time. There's a reason why it's happening now. Like there's something affecting her.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah. It never upset me. I'm not really positive on it. I'm just kind of neutral. It's like, it's fine.
It just bothered me that everyone just accepted what she was saying.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Yeah. Now, the big problem is the Lena and James stuff. Lena's also got another little subplot where she's trying to cure cancer.
As you do.
That's came out of nowhere for me. I was like, wait, what? They're doing what? And it ended up was at Project Haranel, and she ends up accidentally making a heart invulnerable, which leads to a debate at the Thanksgiving dinner, which I like the debate a little bit, because it was like, because it's funny, because James is like, oh, we should try and infiltrate from within and do that, and everyone's like, no, that's a bit dangerous, maybe we shouldn't do that, and then Lena's like, hey, well, if their problem is that aliens are more powerful, let's just even the playing field, and everyone's like, I don't know about that. That sounds a bit dangerous as well. Given all these human beings.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, but what if they're evil? It's like, well, we won't give them to evil people. It's like,
so who decides?
Yeah,
Who's were
this
they?
is sounding sketchy. This is sounding like a Luther.
It is. It's sounding like a Luther playing God. Because they even say that it's playing God. And I'm like, yes, Luther. That's what it's called. That is the word in the dictionary. You look up the word Luther, and then next to it is thinks they're God. That is the definition of Luther.
Pretty much is, yeah.
Maybe egotistical criminal maniac might also be there. Maybe mastermind. But that is the first thing.
Maybe amazing businessman.
Yes.
Ex-president.
Business person. Come on now, Luna.
Okay, fine. I'm thinking of just
also
Lex.
not ex-president. That only applies to Lex.
It does. It does.
Wait, was he a president in this universe? I can't remember. Did I mention that?
Although maybe that's what we do with Lex.
Ah, he runs for president. How do you run for president though when you're actively known as the arch enemy of Superman? In this political climate though, maybe that works.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. In this whole anti-alien thing, where I mean, it would kind of play off reality, right? Okay, so we had Obama, the first black president, and then you go to Trump.
We have an alien president, and we have an intermediate one right now. The vice president.
Yeah, but he doesn't really count. He's just there.
Yeah, and then we go to
the vice president
Lex
being
Luthor.
promoted.
Yeah, but see what the sad part is? I'd rather have Lex Luthor.
What? At least you know where you stand.
He's smart, and at least Superman's watching over Lex Luthor. No one's watching over Trump like that.
No, but I just mean in terms of, okay, so you go from having the alien president to, okay, what the next time there's an election, what do you get?
That could be it. That could be what they're doing with him. Because that would keep him like just on the TV screens for the most part, except maybe one or two episodes where he's actually there in the plot. He could just be out of
just here or there in the backgrounds.
So yeah, I could see them doing that. It's a frustrating episode, this one, because I like ultimately what it's doing plot wise for a lot of the characters, including Manchester Black. I like him going violent and straight up killing some of the Children of Liberty.
Yeah, I like that. No, screw this.
Yeah, and I think what I like about it as well is the murkiness that it adds. It's like, because they're like, wait, a human is attacking us?
They did come to the house to try and kill someone.
Oh, they did, yeah. This is the thing. Obviously, like Supergirl and Co won't be happy when they find out what he's up to because he's doing these extreme measures. But at the same time, you don't just hate his guts because he is going after hate groups. He is, he killed people who were going to attack someone. Like he's not.
Yeah.
It's not completely just white and black. There's shades of grey in here that are at play.
There is, yeah.
And that's fine. And he's a pretty likable guy as well, which
he's
helps.
got charisma. Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite Martian was a fun gag.
Yeah,
it was a fun gag. Yeah, and I like the dragon stuff, and I like the targeting Holmes plot. Unfortunately, the first half of the episode is so full of the Lena and James stuff, and
it is. And I have some other critiques that I have. You know how last season on Flash we kept talking about how with Ralph it felt like we were doing the same thing every episode. I felt that here with Haley. In that last episode, it was like, she's
sure,
here,
yeah.
she's awful. And then, okay, over the episode, it went, no, she's a person. She's not just here to do her own thing and make a point. And then we got the thing at the end where it's like, no, she kind of hates Jean. She's not a big fan of aliens, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But then at the start of this episode, it's back to Supergirl. You patrol where you're told. What are you doing? And it's
why is that? Why do you think that's reverting back? I don't get why that's a reversion.
Well, no. But all that growth with Alex over the fact that she's like, I'm not here to just step on your toes. I'm not here to just do things by the book necessarily. I'm here to, we're here to work. That was the kind of the point of that episode.
No, it wasn't. It ended with the thing with Jean. The final point was that she's going to be adversarial.
Yes, but not in the way that was expected. She's not just trying to set out to change things for the sake of changing things. She's there to be anti-alien. Don't get me wrong. But she's not there to just step on Alex's toes procedurally. Well, that's not the way I took it, because she made a point with Alex of being like, hey, with that thing with Alex last episode, where she's like, no, why did you change this? And Alex is like, well, we saved time, and she's like, yeah, you're right, it works, that's good. And
yeah, I never read this as she was going to lighten up with Alex though. I don't know where you're getting that from exactly.
No, I don't think lighten up's the right word, but it just the way it kind of felt like none of that had happened. It didn't feel like any of that, the rest of that episode had actually taken place to me in the way they interacted.
I don't know if I agree with that, because to me it felt like this is where we are. She's still going to be a hard ass. She's barking orders, and now we're in a place where Alex knows who she really is. So, Because the thing with the last episode, or 2 episodes ago, whatever it was, is that she thought she was going to be awful. It turned out she was okay until she revealed her agenda at the end, right? Until she sort of revealed more about who she was. I'm leaning in because my TV's turning off and I need to get the remote. But to me, that twist at the end where we find out what she's really like, to me said that this was going to be a strenuous relationship. So, I don't agree. I think in general, because I was going to at least give you the caveat that, well, the main point of all those Flash episodes, that was the main plot every time. At least if this did revert a little bit, it was just a side plot. But I don't actually think I agree that it did.
Okay, just the way it felt to me.
I'm not going to necessarily say that I enjoyed it, but I don't think it reverted in terms of.
Okay, fair enough. Like I say, there's the way it felt to me, but I could be just me on this one. My only other thing that I do want to critique is a weird bit of dialogue. The conversation after everything's happened, it's Jean, Alex, and Kara, and they're like sat in the kitchen. They're at the table, and they kind of just do this checklist of this is everything what you did this episode. Like they literally just go around and say, "Yo, this was my plot, this was my plot, and this was my thing," and it felt really weird and just like here, in case for some reason you're just checking in 5 minutes from the end, these are the bullet points. And I don't usually have that problem with this show, and it really stuck out to me.
Yeah, I don't really have a sort of.
Yeah. I'm bringing it up because I don't usually have that for this show. I get at the start of the episode you want to recap in case people miss things in the last episode.
I wonder if the point of it is just to show that they're all sharing their information, like because they've all had their own plots more or less. Maybe the point of this scene is that they're all kind of merging together, where they're all going to be working together, but through different branches. Where Jean's on the street with aliens, and Supergirl's Supergirling.
It could be. Yeah. Even so, I still think it's poorly written then because of the way it just like here.
That's fair. I can't argue with it. Like I say, I hated all Lena and Jimmy stuff. I hated those scenes with a passion.
That was the worst stuff. These other stuff is just nitpicks compared to that.
The Lena scenes with the Kansas stuff was intriguing on its own. It's almost this weird detriment where, because I'm annoyed at our presence in the James scenes, I'm like, oh, why are we back with Lena? Oh, it's completely separate from that. What are we doing now? Okay, heart
Look, and
cancer.
That's the thing. Even when it's it's James on his own, when he's infiltrating the Children of Liberty and he's dealing with them, in theory that stuff's fine. But I'm like, yeah, but this is all going on because of this Lena stuff, and it infects it, right? It infects the rest of the episode, even when they're individual. Yeah,
the scenes with the dude, was it Tom from Children of Liberty, who he kind of talks out of going out, and that's actually his squad of like children, if you will, that got killed by Manchester Black. Yeah, and it seems like he's maybe getting through to him, but then obviously at the end when he's like, "Oh, we'll set up a meeting with the big guy," he gets taken in a van with a hood over his head, and that's kind of how we wrap it up. Yeah. That and Manchester Black killing the cop, the racist cop from a couple episodes ago. But
I'm enjoying Manchester Black a lot.
I'm enjoying Manchester Black. Actually, do you know what I think one of the weird problems with this show is right now? It needs to give Supergirl more stuff to do. Like more, like I think Kara as a character needs to actually have more of a central plot in everything that's going on. She feels like one of many sub characters right now, as opposed to the star of the show.
She has no agency, right? She's not actively doing anything. It's like, oh, something's happened. Okay, I guess we'll go and deal with that. But it's quite late on by the time that it's happened that she's involved.
I think she has to make the act, and she is kind of fighting in a sense where she's doing the articles from the journalist perspective, but she needs to make some sort of an active choice. I think a big moment potentially could be when she tells Haley to shove it. When Haley's like saying you can't go here unless you're ordered to. He's like, well, no, I'm freaking Supergirl. I'm going to go catch that plane or whatever it is.
And you know what? This is why I'm annoyed you wasted your Buffy reference. Because, no, because I think there is a perfect analogy here.
Hold on a second. My Thanksgiving use for the reference was phenomenal. And secondly, there's no such thing as a limit.
You get one.
I do not. I get as many as I see fit.
Television show.
I get as many hit television shows as I want. What were you going to say? What was your Buffy reference?
Because the moment that's coming is going to be Buffy telling the Watchers Council to stick it, right?
I believe the exact phrase in the episode you're referring to is "bait me."
Very well. I was paraphrasing to.
Unless you're thinking the season 5 thing.
Yeah, the season 5 thing.
I was thinking a season 3 thing. The episode where she loses all of her Slayer powers and she has to fight a vampire on her own, and it's like a Watcher's test, and she tells the head of the Watcher's Council to bite me at the end of it. Fair enough.
No, season 5. Well, it's like no. I'm the one doing this. You're not.
Yeah. She's got a big speech. She has a big speech, and then it's sidelined at the end because she makes this big speech on how strong we are, how we're the Scooby Gang, how we're going to defeat anything, and then he's like, "Yeah, that villain you're fighting this season's a god," and then it cuts to credits. It's a really funny moment, because Whedon likes to be funny, but
he does. Yeah, I'm kind of expecting that sort of moment of no, finally, just be like, no, screw you.
I hope they nail that moment because that could be a really fulfilling moment.
It could. I hope it doesn't take too long to get to it. I feel like I could feel too drawn out with Haley by the time, and then by the time it gets there, I could be like, "Oh, good, we're finally done with that."
So it's funny because one of the complaints we had for the last 2 whole seasons was that they didn't have enough for James to do, and this season they're giving James a pretty pivotal part of the plot, and it feels like they're kind of whiffing on it a bit.
I don't mind any of his stuff with Lockwood and with the him infiltrating the General Liberty.
Just Lena.
And
it's not Lena's bad on her own either. It's just
no. I don't think there's anything wrong with her character.
It's the togetherness.
Yes, exactly. They pull each other down.
Into bed often.
Obviously.
Yeah, I mean. And then we have to deal with the bullshit drama, how they're mad at each other and they're going to be in the room with each other and blah, blah, blah.
All the usual bollocks.
Yeah, all the usual relationship drama. Which, to their credit, they've not tried to show her in a crappy love interest for Supergirl for a while, which I'm pleased, because it's never ended well on this show. Never.
It has, no.
So I'm okay with that. But, yeah, I hope it can refocus a little bit more on Supergirl herself a little bit. Especially since this plot, to her and Jean especially, because they are both aliens, it feels personal. It feels like it should be a bit more personal to them.
Yeah, definitely.
And they should take some agency. And I like what they're doing with Jean for the most part, actually. I think his whole... We're not seeing him be a detective really yet, but I'm liking to go down that path with him. I think Supergirl needs to take more of a... And she did do a speech for TV, back in episode 1 or 2. She did do that, but more of a public, no, I'm making a stance.
Yeah, no, I think that should, in theory, come in part of defying Haley, of being like, no, I'm doing what's right, not what procedure says.
Yeah. Do you know what's funny? Because I forget that she's technically an agent of the DEO, and it's kind of weird. It's what you could make this story about is her saying, you know what, I am not aligned with any government or agency of any kind. I am just a superhero. And
funny you mention that, because that would be a really interesting way to bring in, the Soviet Kara.
It would, because then she'd be... And you know what? I'm looking forward to Soviet Comrade Zor-El. I'm looking forward to her, and I'm kind of almost happy that we're saving her seemingly for after Christmas, where maybe most of this stuff will be wrapped up. Yeah,
but I mean, if you do, I don't know, she's Russian, and look what happens when you've got just a rogue government doing this, right? With their superpowered individuals, and her realizing that no, the American government could be just as bad and doing that with me. I've got to be my own thing.
Yeah. Superman, Supergirl for everyone is basically the thing, right? That's
right.
the old saying. I could see that going that path. And do you know what? I'm looking forward to Comrade Zor-El, A, because I like the idea of the plot, but also because Melissa Benoist is the best actor on the show, and I think as good as Ben Lockwood is, as good as what's his face, Sam Witwer, as good as he is, letting Melissa Benoist just play the villain as well might give us an even better villain.
Potentially.
That should be good. So, I hope so. But this episode was a bit of a whiff. I'd say this episode was about a half to 2/3 of a whiff, and then some stuff I liked, and I like what it's doing with the overall plot for the most part.
Yeah, it's one of those where I do like the technical progression we've had. I just didn't enjoy watching most of the progression.
Who wrote this episode?
I don't know. We should give them shit.
I'm trying to check this. This was Gabriel Llanas, because 2 L's in Spanish is a Y sound, right? Yeah.
I believe so, yes.
Damn it. I got it. And then Daniel Beatty. So, put in those two.
We'll look out for their names in the future and see if it follows an equally awful.
Yes. I should probably just check at the start of every review, just like, okay, who wrote this one, and just try and mentally keep check of who's good and who's bad. That's potential. Anyway, let's move on to some bad. That is Arrow, season 7, episode 6. It's called Due Process. And if Jason Todd is not a title that's going to get me excited, Due Process will. Because it sounds exciting, doesn't it? Due Process. Oh.
It sounds dull.
I'm going to due process you.
It doesn't even sound like it's offensively bad. It just sounds dull.
I'm going to due process you in the ass. I don't even know what that means. I don't know if that's threatening something sexual or just threatening wiping it, because that's due process, because you might wipe it.
I'm not sure where you're going with this, to be honest.
Is it an enema? Is that the due process of an ass is? I don't know.
I don't know. I got nothing.
Shaving the ass, is that due process? I don't know. Anyway, so you fell asleep about 15 minutes before the end of this episode, so you didn't see the end of it.
I'm just taking your word on this because I don't remember.
Well, let me ask you this: do you remember the flash forward future that implied Felicity became a terrorist and had bombs set up around the city?
Yes.
You do remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, do you remember Diaz getting caught? Probably intentionally, and that's going to be how they get Oliver out of prison?
No.
Don't remember that.
But, see, this is the thing. When I woke up this morning, we watched this last night,
okay,
I didn't really remember getting into bed. I didn't really really think about Arrow that much. I didn't really remember a lot of it. But that's not unusual. I get heavy on the drink on an Arrow night, and last night it was particularly late, actually. We kind of went later than usual, so I've been drinking longer than usual.
yeah, excuses.
So I didn't even realize I'd fallen asleep until you told me, 2 hours ago. It's like, hey, did you fall asleep?
So
you fell asleep.
I'm saying Diaz got caught intentionally, because if this wasn't intentional, then it's horrible writing, because he's taken down so easily. It is ridiculous how easy he goes down. And the fake Green Arrow pops up to help, and he saves the city because they've got bombs triggered that's going to decimate the entire city. And he's about to press the trigger, and then the Arrow comes in, and it's the new Green Arrow, and he helps the whole team, because the whole team are working together again pretty much, even though they're under Argus still. It's a whole thing, and that's fine. And Felicity is kind of really annoying this season, more so than normal, because she's going full, she keeps complaining that everyone else is not working with her, even though she's just constantly doing stuff for her own self, her own,
Yeah, it was really bad last week when she was like, no, just Curtis, just hack this thing. It's fine. Do what I say.
She has no consideration for what anyone else is either doing, wanting to do, needing to do, the predicaments they're in because of their legal situation, whatever. She doesn't care. Everything's just about what she wants. And this episode, it's she almost gets Anatoly killed, because she makes Anatoly go on a little covert double agent mission.
Yeah, if you're going to kill him, do not kill the KG Beast, which actually he refers to himself as a KG Beast this episode, which I don't know if we've had done on this show before.
I don't think so. I'll be honest, I forgot he was supposed to be KG Beast.
I knew that just because I knew the name, so I just knew he was. But I mean, in terms of his actual character, he's not really. He's too Weasley to be the KG Beast.
Yeah, absolutely. And Anatoly's like, no, it's fine. I don't care that you almost got me killed. Don't have regrets or apologies. Become this new person, because blah, blah, blah. You need to be a monster. And he gives her a gun.
Bradva.
And she walks into Diaz at the end, and she's going to shoot him in the face. Until Dinah comes in, stops her, and says, no, hey, listen. No, actually, no, it's Laurel. It's not Dinah, it's Laurel.
Oh, that would make more sense given the rest of the episode.
Yeah. Laurel comes in and says, no, don't shoot him. We've made a deal with the FBI to swap him for Oliver. Because they want the collar. And then she's all happy and crying. But Diaz wants to get into that prison for some reason. I don't know what he's doing yet, but this has to be intentional or it's ridiculous. It's just too easy. Bafflingly so. So, yeah, that was it. I mean, Laurel had a thing. She had a whole plan to go and get Oliver out of prison by using the whole evil psychiatrist thing from last episode.
Yeah, showing how badly he's being treated, making a point of saying that the FBI didn't agree to their end of the deal of protecting.
Because Felicity almost got killed. Yeah, that's fair. And she gets shot down, but they do agree to investigate because of the abuse and everything that's going on in the prison. And she sees this as a defeat, and she's going to go and scream at the judge after dark. And Dinah steps out and is like, you know what, I know you killed the love of my life, but you know what, you've actually gotten better. Don't throw it away now. And they have this pep talk. It's kind of fine for what it is. It's just one of those things, though, where this show does all these redemption stories so often that it's hard to take them with any real weight.
It is.
To any great extent. Because, I mean, how many times... You were complaining on Titans about killing and now saying we're not been killing. At least that's just implying they never were. How many times has Oliver actually went back and forth on the choice to kill or not to kill?
Oh, loads. And we've complained about it every single time.
We have, yeah. It was fine the first time, because when he first decided, you know what, I'm not going to kill anymore, fine. But he's went so back and forth since then. Whenever he feels like it's worthwhile killing someone, he'll just do it.
Yeah, I think it can be interesting to do that once afterwards. Right now, like, no, this is the one I have to kill again for. You get that once. Not the time, was it last season before, that he was just running around with a gun for the start of the season?
Yeah, no, he's, yep. So that's the whole thing. And she goes to Oliver and tells him this, and Oliver's like, piss off. He doesn't believe she's changed. But at the end of the episode, when she comes in and tells him about how they're going to investigate the prison, he's like, okay, that's going to help people in here, so thanks for that, I guess. And then he leaves, and then she gets a text saying we've caught Diaz, and she's going to turn around and tell him, and he's already gone. And she's like, oh well, but it's a whole moment. So yeah, Laurel, I mean, it's the most interesting stuff they've given Laurel in a long time.
It's a low bar, but it's true.
Yeah, but she's actually got like an arc here. She's actually got a story of redemption for as little as that means on this show at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's a little bit of Renee, but not much. There's a little bit of Curtis, but not much.
I did like when Renee showed up, though. I remember he kind of just pops in. It's like, hey, guys.
Yeah, he comes to help, and it's kind of weird because the teammates, like Felicity with Renee and whoever, show up to where they find Anatoly. At the same time, Argus does with Diggle. At the same time, the police do with Dinah. And then that's when they all decide to maybe we should actually just team up again because, hey, we keep running to each other. Except they kick out Laurel. And Laurel's pissed because she's all better. And Felicity kind of sticks up for her a little bit.
Yeah.
Whatever. But... yeah, so Felicity's going to the dark side in the future. The final flash forward was like they basically discover she had a program called Black Star. That was the whole thing about blowing up the city. So we'll see where that goes, I guess. I'm not particularly thrilled. Now, here's the other thing, though. The thing that you would have laughed hysterically at that I said you missed.
Go on.
So the plot with Oliver in this episode is that a guard... was a guard, right? Yeah, a guard got killed. Got shanked.
Yes. Dunbar, I want to say his name was.
And... was Arthur? Was that the sidekick's name?
No, that doesn't sound right.
Stanley. His name's Stanley.
That's it. I knew it began with an S.
And Stanley gets carried away by guards because they think he did it. And he's screaming, it wasn't me, Oliver, it wasn't me, Oliver. And Oliver goes to look into it, and he goes to Brick, and he, in his little group, and it's like, you bastards, what did you do? If you had anything to do with this, I'll find it. And then later on, he's scooping around in the shower, and he finds where they hid the weapon.
The shank, yeah.
And he doesn't. And to his credit, he uses like cloth to pick it up, so he doesn't get fingerprints on it. And he hands it in, and they find out it was a Bronze Tiger, and they cart him away.
Felt like a setup though. When Oliver walked out, it's like, oh, this is yours.
Yeah.
It felt like it wasn't really.
And then, so he gets carted away, and he's screaming, no, it wasn't me, seriously. Guys, I thought it was funny the guy died, but it wasn't me. He doesn't say that, but that's the gist of it. And so, you made a joke when they first carted Stanley away, that he just actually did it, that he's guilty. So Stanley comes back to like the mess hall, towards the end, right? This is like the final scene. Or the second final scene. And he sits down with Oliver. He's like, "Oh, it's such a good thing you found Bronze Tiger's shank when you did. Otherwise, I'd be screwed." And he's like, "How did you know it was his? You've been in the hole. You wouldn't know that." He's like, "Oh, I guess I heard it somewhere." And he's like, "You gonna eat that?" And he like grabs up his bun and he starts eating his bun in front of him, just munching. He's a little happy trooper. And it just like the camera just tracks into Oliver's eyes as he realizes this guy's a killer. He's a little psychopath. My sidekick's a psychopath.
Oh, this is brilliant.
So, yeah, you were sitting on that part, but I was making me laugh.
I definitely don't remember that.
No, but it was gold. It was gold. It made me laugh a lot. So, would you believe it? Little Stanley is a psychopath, and Oliver is going to have to try and now possibly team up with Bronze Tiger to take him down, maybe. I don't know. If he stays in prison, that is. I don't know how quick he's getting out.
I mean, Even if they did them out next episode, I can't really complain.
I mean, it's been 6 episodes.
Had a good run. To be fair to them, for what we expected, and he's got to be out by the end of 8.
That's true. That's true. We'll get 2 to get him out so that we can do the crossover. Yeah.
So I mean, all things considered, out of the 8 they had to play with, 6 ain't bad.
Yeah, could be worse. I mean, it was Arrow. It was kind of typical Arrow. It wasn't. There was a couple of laughably bad moments. Otherwise, it was just kind of fine. And
it was really dull, which is probably why I fell asleep.
that's true. Which will take us on then to Legends of Tomorrow. It's season 4, episode 5. It's called Tagumo Attacks with lots of exclamation points. I saw that and then read in the description 1951 Tokyo, and I went, "Oh, is this a kaiju episode? That sounds like a kaiju thing." And not only that, there's a point in this episode where they go back to 1951 Tokyo, and they even say they're looking for a Shiro Honda, and I went, "A Shiro Honda?"
Yep.
Because I don't imagine most people watching this will know who that is, but if you didn't get it by the end, because there's obviously a big hint towards the end, but they never outright say it. He's the director of the original Godzilla.
That might be the most restraint Legends has ever shown.
They still implied that Mick inspired Godzilla.
I believe it.
Which was just fair. I don't have a problem with that. It's just,
It's fine, though, but that implication is the most subtle Legends has been.
Yeah, that's true.
In a long time.
That's true. It's a giant octopus, and it's not the octopus itself that is the entity. It turns out to be a book that an artist will either draw or write in, and the thing will come to life. And that's what's happened. Is Shiro Honda has drawn this octopus destroying Tokyo. Clearly, he's got it on the brain. And do you know what? For as fun and goofy as a lot of this episode is, and in the best way possible, that is not a critique. It got really serious for a moment with a really nice little speech about Hiroshima, and I was like, "Whoa, they're going here! They're actually going here!" And obviously, if you're not aware of this, is the original Godzilla is actually an allegory for nuclear weapons. That's what the story's about. It's about how Japan suffered these attacks, and this was like, no, here's a monster that was created from nuclear tests, and that's what it kind of stands.
I thought it was a little bit Charlie's line about that, where she's like, "Oh, that monster, that's man-made. That ain't no magical thing." And they're like, "What?" She's like, "Well, you sent a lot of nukes down there, didn't you? Yeah, that's probably what caused it."
Yeah. Which obviously a reference to the origin of Godzilla in the movie.
Yeah, it just it felt a little weird.
Yeah. Oh, no, I agree. That one's a bit clunkier. But that actual little speech that he gives when he says why he had this idea for a story, because they're all kind of like being, not mean to him, but they're all kind of like, "Oh, this is your fault for drawing this stupid thing." And then he says why and he talks about how he was standing in the ashes of Hiroshima, and the people who were there were, they're in the air, they're in his lungs, he was breathing them in, and it's this really sad that, and like the demeanor changes, and Sarah steps in and makes him feel better and says, "No, you lived through an awful thing." And I was like, man, this show sometimes, for as goofy as it is, can hit these little serious notes when it wants to.
Oh, it definitely can. Yeah,
and I thought it was well done. I thought it was a really touching little moment that worked. But moving on from that to get to the silliness.
I should say a small thing that I thought I appreciated is just how much of this was in Japanese and subtitled.
Even the title screen was in Japanese.
Even the title screen. It surprised me because I think Legends has done it here or there, but it kept coming back to it consistently, and every time it came back to it, I was like, "Oh, I thought we were just in English now."
Yeah. I respect that too. So we bring back the fact that Mick's a writer into the plot this one, because Mick ends up being the artist who can then finish the story to save the day, and his 3-breasted Xena Princess Warrior-esque character not only comes into the world and fights the octopus, they do it in the fake city set for one of the monster movies, so it's actually like an old, B-movie kaiju film as they're fighting. And
it looks fantastic.
It's glorious. It looked great, and
it might be the best CG the show's had.
And Mick has sex with the 3-breasted lady at the end, and the others realize they're about to do that, and then get freaked out and all leave very quickly. And that's
a pretty appropriate response to that, though.
It is pretty appropriate. I mean, for the record, I don't really want to see Mick have sex with a regular person either, but never mind your weird 3-breasted alien-looking creature. It's fine. I'm good. So, now, a lot of fun moments in this one. There's a lot of good jokes. Early on when Zari catches him writing and he's like, "I was watching porn." and she's like on a typewriter. And then like 2 minutes later, they're saying, oh, we have to have our hobbies. Like they keep us sane. And says, oh, we have to take things seriously. And Mick goes, I take my porn very seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, it reminded me of the joke. I think was it Spider-Man: Homecoming that did this.
Yeah, where Ned's on the computer and the teacher catches him.
Yeah,
yeah.
Except this just took it more extreme because it was like, well, hang on, that's a typewriter, and
Yes.
then Mick brought up again. Like, no, I'm serious about that.
I mean, if he's writing porn, technically, he's looking at porn.
I mean,
in a way,
sounds like it might spill into porn.
Yes. But no, so that was fun. That was kind of the main plot. It was the ladies. Charlie goes with them in this mission, and they're dodging tentacles. They're trying to use one of Ray's shrink beams to shrink it down, which makes sense because how else are they going to deal with it? Because it's huge.
And then fight with a sword.
And fight it with a sword. Yeah. No, it was a really fun plot. It's funny. We don't have much more to say about this plot specifically, I think, because there was other plots sharing the screen time. There was 2 other sort of fairly meaty plots happening at the same time, even though this was definitely the main one. But it was delightful. I loved all the kaiju stuff. I loved the black and white film stuff. I loved them the final fight being in the fake city where they'd film a kaiju.
I'm surprised at how good it looks. Yeah. I really was, because you had the alien woman with the sword fighting this octopus thing that, in proportion to the city, they were still giant.
Yeah,
and it looked good.
Yeah, no, it was fun. Speaking of fun, what was the name of Gary's little love interest? Mona.
I want to say it begins with an M, but yeah, you got there.
She got flashed last time, Men in Black style. In fact, it was even a joke this episode of how he says I was going to flash her later, and look at him like, wait, what? Is it? Oh, that came out wrong.
Yeah,
that came out wrong. But basically, it's Thanksgiving again, and like Supergirl. And he's left in the office himself. Ava goes with Nate to his Thanksgiving dinner because his dad invites her. And there's some fun jokes there about, you're going to have to start drinking because like the turkey's not even in the oven yet and blah, blah. But we get the beast they've got locked up. There's like a Neanderthal type dude and there's like a alien sort of Star Trek looking dude. And
yeah, there's a chupacabra. There was Baba Yaga. And I'm forgetting the third one.
Yeah, Baba Yaga. Which actually, there was a Baba Yaga joke in Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I just watched the other night, so this made me chuckle.
Really?
There was a Baba Yaga in it. So they escape, and Gary's trying to, have a Thanksgiving date with Mona, and all chaos happens. Nate has to come and help, and antics ensue. And she ends
I will say the one joke I was disappointed with.
Oh, yeah.
Is... so he invites Mona up, to bring her the food, and she starts asking about, Time Bureau. He goes, "Oh my God, it's like Groundhog Day." I'm like, no, it's Hedgehog Day on this show. Thank you very much.
He wasn't there for that though.
He must have heard the story. Zari must have mentioned Hedgehog Day at some point.
He wasn't there for that joke. Hell, that got erased because the time reset again.
It did, but she knows. She remembers it. She told them all the story.
Do you really think Zari's telling stories to Gary?
I think Gary has been around while she has mentioned Hedgehog Day. Or more likely, Nate's told him.
So Mona ends up saving the day because she goes and gets food. Because basically they're looking for food. And I did like the joke that Nate figures it out because they're acting like his family. He understands what they're looking for because they're acting like his drunk family.
Because they're all hangry.
They're all hangry, yes. And she goes and gets all the food that they specifically like. And then when Nate's dad does show up, he's like, "Oh, your monster handler's very good. He's like, you're good eye for talent." He's like, yes, we're going to hire her right away.
Yep. She's on the payroll now.
On the payroll. And we finally got her Back to the Future joke.
You've been waiting for it, haven't you?
I've been waiting for it. I knew they were going to do it. So basically, they want to get back to the dinner, and he's like, "Oh, your mum's going to be pissed at us." And Ava's like, "No, we got time travel. We can just go back to the second we left." And he's like, "Let's make like a tree and leave." And Nate's like, "Doesn't go like that, I don't think."
Yeah.
And if you're unfamiliar with that, in Back to the Future Part 2, Biff says, "Make like a tree and get out of here." And then his older self from the future slaps him in the head and says, "Make like a tree and leave, you idiot." That's the joke.
Yeah.
And he's old now, so...
It's appropriate, isn't it?
In fact, he's actually... No, he's 1985 age, because it's about 30... Oh, it's actually 40 years now, but... He's closer to 1985 age than he was 2015 age. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the point being is that time has happened and now he's actually old, so...
Yes, exactly.
It's
That's
funny.
the important part.
Although amusingly, Michael J. Fox does not look as old as he should do, given what you think. You watch Back to the Future Part 2 and you see what they thought he looked like as older. He's like, no, he looks much younger than that still.
Really?
Michael J. Fox he's like, who else doesn't age? Keanu's finally aged, but Keanu spent a long time without aging.
He did spend a long time, yeah.
Yeah, but there's a few actors here or there who just don't seem to age that much.
Yeah, you had Patrick Stewart for quite a while. Again, recently.
Yeah. But anyway, so no, it was a fun enough plot. It was fine, and it led to the little cliffhanger at the end. Nate's dad's kind of evil. He's got a secret government controlling monsters program that he wants to enact.
Yeah, he basically wants them all captured and wants to use them as weapons for the government.
Yeah. So that'll be something to get into. Seems like it may be fun. I don't know. This show doesn't tend to let me down in its plots too much these days, so I can't really fault.
Yeah, I mean, there's things like this where you just kind of have to go on previous experience, right?
Yeah,
because so far so good.
Because the idea itself doesn't excite me as a concept, but I just trust that they'll do something with it.
Exactly.
So that's fine. And then the other plot was, of course, Ray going to get Nora to save Constantine. And it's had kind of a touching ending where she turns herself in because she wants to, pay her time.
Yeah, she's like, do you know what? I'm sick of just being on the run. I don't want to be a fugitive. Let's get this over with.
She wants to atone for her sins. So she's all into Ray. Ray's all into her. She's very she knows all well that he's into her now. Constantine kind of spelled it out. Well, it was delirious. Also, he had a vision when they were doing the magic mumbo jumbo to save him of a person.
Yes. Didn't recognize them.
No, I was wondering if it was from his show. That maybe
I was thinking that. I was wondering if it's I'm forgetting the name of the guy, the voodoo guy.
I'm just wondering if they got someone from his show back and they're going to do something with him.
I can't remember well enough to I'm blanking on the guy's name now. The character. Yeah. Papa Midnight.
That's not what he said because he said a name out loud.
Yeah, but I mean, he might have a different name, right?
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, we spent a lot of time regurgitating plot for this one because there was so much going on. But this is up there with some of the best Legends episodes for me. It had the fun, goofy stuff. It had all the fun stuff with Mick being a writer. It even played a Time Cop 1983 track at the end, which I was not expecting, but I'll take it. Legends.
Is that what that was from?
Yeah. It's an artist, not a.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's a synthwave artist called Time Cop 1983.
Right.
So it's pretty good. But so I had that. It had the sweeter moments with Nora. It had the Hiroshima speech, which I thought was really good.
It was. Yeah.
It was aping on tropes of a genre that I like.
You do like, yeah.
I have little to complain about. I had a blast. This is probably, if not my favourite episode of the season so far, my second favourite.
I'd agree with that.
This and the Unicorn one are blow to blow.
Yeah, they're definitely up there.
So no, really good. This is what I like about Legends. So no,
just looking for the name of the next one. See what we got to look forward to. It's called Tender is the Nate. So we got a Nate episode. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good. Oh, it says Mona tries to make a good impression with Ava. That sounds like it's going to be fantastic. She's Lady Gary, and I can only assume that Lady Gary is going to lead to lots of wonderful plots.
Yes, and it mentions 1920s Paris for the main team. Cool.
Well, we'll move on then to something less than good, which was The Flash, Season 5, Episode 6. It's called The Icicle Cometh.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm really glad you opened with that, because I wasn't sure if I was going to have to fight you. I wasn't sure if I was just in a bad mood today watching some of these.
No, this was a bad episode of The Flash. I have little positive things to... There's a couple of small character things here or there, but the main plot... We've not been into Caitlin's finding her father thing anyway, but my biggest frustration with this episode is that Cisco is just freaking right immediately, and everyone says, no, Cisco, it's her father, be happy for her, be happy we found him. And he's like, no, something's fishy, because something's always fishy when this happens, right?
It's not wrong.
And you know, by the end of the episode, Barry kind of justifies everything by saying, well, you know, we saw the good in Thorn, we saw the good in Zolomon before they turned out to be bad. I mean, I don't want it to change because we see the good in people. And I'm like, this is how you're going to keep getting screwed over, over and over again.
Cisco's not saying, oh, he's definitely evil. He's like, but maybe we could check.
We could prove it, yes. Let's prove it one way or the other before we
It's
just
like, I've got a way here. Can we just find out and then we can celebrate after?
So every single second of Caitlin getting mad at him for questioning things was just making me mad. Because
And Barry getting mad at him too.
Barry getting mad. Caitlin was worse though.
Caitlin was worse.
Because then Barry kind of saw his logic and said, you know what, maybe I should think of this as a CI. And then he tried to like talk sense into Caitlin, and then she get mad at Barry.
Yeah.
All of it. All of it was tedious and annoying, and I hated all of it.
The only bright side I have is that Killer Frost was back for a little bit.
Killer Frost is
more
cool,
fun.
And she's back. And she can come back whenever she wants. She can even talk to Caitlin now. She's got a little mind doohickey to talk to her, which is fine. Icicle, her father, looked terrible when he turned into Icicle. I thought he looked like garbage.
Yeah.
And it's not a question of it's like, oh, it's just like they can't do any better. No, it was just a bad design choice. They decided to do this thing where he just kind of looks cold with veins.
Yeah. And do you want to know something that's also equally annoying?
Yeah.
Her father being Icicle means that on top of being Killer Frost, she's actually Icicle Jr. And now we can't get Icicle Jr.
Cold Snap still on the table though, baby.
Well, who else they got?
Do you know what I thought was funny? We're dealing with Icicle this episode. We have Killer Frost. We've dealt with Captain Cold in this show in the past. They chose this one to reference Mr. Freeze. I'm like,
do you know what it is? It's because we know we're getting
Nora.
Freeze
Yeah, we're getting
some
Nora
capacity.
Freeze.
Yeah. So they're like, oh, we're allowed to do that now.
Which is fine. It made it less special though, because I was like, oh yeah, we're getting Nora, so yeah, I guess we can reference Mr. Freeze.
Do you know what I really didn't like in terms of the cold side of things?
Well, just one final point. It's on the design of Icicle. I actually would have wished that we got a really bad CG actual Icicle with the the pointy ice chin and all that. I would have taken a bad CG version of that. That'd have been more fun than what they did, which was just sort of crappy TV makeup thing. But yeah, because it
was. So, the Flash and Excess run in to try and stop him at one point and then immediately stop because, hey, it's cold. And Icicle starts monologuing, hey, you can't do that in here. And it's like, Barry, you've dealt with colder villains before. You should know this.
Yeah. But what my problem is that it was like negative 300, then it went to negative 400 Fahrenheit. And all I could think was, shouldn't they all be dead? Negative 400.
Yeah, that's cold. That's cold as balls.
That's really freaking cold.
What the hell is absolute zero? Because let's go.
Bit of googling.
Yeah, in Fahrenheit. There we go. 459 minus 459.
So it was getting there.
It was getting there. Yeah.
I mean, it was just weird and. Don't get me wrong, I get it. Okay, everyone else is incapacitated. It gives Caitlin a chance for Killer Frost to shine. I get why they're doing it, but it was whatever. At least Iris and Nora aren't fighting anymore. That's nice.
Yeah. Although, please don't remind me about Iris jumping off a building.
Oh my, that's the thing. I that was hilarious, right, and stupid. I don't think you want to keep reminding us that that's the crux of why Nora likes her now.
Yeah, that being the moment of, oh, she's cool. No, she's not. I mean, she is, but not because of that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the scenes well enough of like Sherlock being annoyed because they're kind of like not fighting, but like she wants to go with her and do the interviews, but Iris is like, no, I do that kind of alone. Like even Barry doesn't come with me for that. That's just a me thing.
Yeah, I'll tell you one joke I did laugh at, like legitimately got a chuckle.
Their handshake.
No, not even that. It's more subtle. Obviously, everyone keeps calling him Sherlock, and he keeps going Sherlock, right?
Yeah.
Correcting the pronunciation.
Oh yeah, I like this. Yeah, I always thought about it.
And there's a point where he says cicada, and everyone else goes no, cicada.
Yeah, that was good.
That little reversal. No one really. It wasn't a big thing. They didn't make it, a point out, but that was nice.
Yeah, it was Cisco who threw that in his face.
Yeah.
Now, there was at one point. It was after she got towards the end when they found, because they're looking for the heart of the satellite that where Cicada's dagger came from, right?
Yeah.
And it's underwater, and Iris is like, "Oh, I can do it like I did it when I was a speedster," and she, it's like, "I'd go do the thing, right?" And it's fine. afterwards though, like they're so happy, like they bond a little bit from it, right? That they do a little like they do the fist bump, right? But then it keeps going, and it's really subtle though, because it doesn't stay focused on it. We cut to like Barry and like Ralph or whoever in the foreground, and they're still kind of doing it behind them. They're doing this like extended thing, but they kind of just peter out and don't know what they're doing, and just kind of like wave their hands eventually and just stop.
Yeah,
and it was a funny little background joke, and I was like, okay, it was nice because it was like it kind of perfectly encapsulates their relationship. Where okay, they like each other now, they want to make it work, but they don't necessarily know how, so they're kind of stumbling through it. It was the perfect little joke to represent that.
It was.
That's nice.
But I think that's where my positives end.
It's probably where my positives end for the most. Well, I'm trying to think of what else happened that I might have liked.
Ralph and DA Cecile Horton. Because she needs a full title.
That was okay. There was some fun.
It was kind of pointless, but it was fine.
There was some fun parts, like Cecile getting her mojo back and like intimidating Ralph were some fun moments.
Yeah,
it was a C plot, but it was an okay C plot. Like
it was fine. It wasn't something I've got anything to complain about.
It was a cheap way of explaining why Joe's not around for the episode. But no, I mean I liked her complaining that her mojo's gone and then getting it back. It was amusing enough. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not an episode saver, but if this was a C plot and an otherwise good episode, it'd be a fine C plot.
It would, yeah. Like I said, I don't really have anything to criticize about it. Really, It's fine. It's nothing special, but it's fine.
My bigger problem is Cicada's a lot better when he doesn't talk. There was too much talking from Cicada this episode, and I
liked when he got stabbed.
It was really awful. Yeah, we had this like, T-1000-esque meta at the start that he attacks.
Yeah.
When he gets stabbed. But it's when he's talking to the doctor, he's like, get out of my way, or I'm going to kill you or something, nondescript. I'm Cicada, I'm evil, I'm gruff, and I'm gruff, I do gruff voices.
Yeah. How is this guy lasting the whole season?
I hope he does. I hope he's done by Christmas. I don't think he will be, but I hope he is. Do you know what it was? It was when she comes by his house and she's going to like fix up his heart, and he stands up and goes, "It's making me stronger." And he's chewing the scenery, and this was borderline Street Fighter Legend of Chun-Li.
It's down there.
Chris Klein. This was borderline. I've told you this before, but everyone, seriously, look up the 2-minute thing. It's every line he has in that movie edited into like a 2-minute video. It's worth watching, just for his delivery of the lines. It's good. Well, it's not good. It's bad. But that's the point.
It's enjoyable.
It's enjoyably bad. But this was reaching. Which, don't get me wrong, if he keeps getting worse and worse, I'll eventually start enjoying it because it's so bad. I'm not there yet, but it's almost. I mean, I'm enjoying making fun of it. That's something at least.
But you're still sick of it while you're watching it.
I'm not enjoying making fun of this whole Icicle and Caitlyn garbage. I'm just. It was tedious to sit through. It was forced drama, and
we should be done with it now, though, right?
That's the one upside is that this should be it. This should be it done. And we got Killer Frost out of the mix back, and it sounds like at the end that okay, we've tracked this satellite piece. Maybe we can find Cicada. Okay, plot's moving along. Let's get back to fun stuff that we like, please. Can we go back to doing fun Nora things before she was too mad at Iris? But the first few episodes with Nora. Let's get back to that.
First few episodes of this season were really good.
Really enjoyable, yeah. Not breaking any new ground or
back on form.
Yeah.
And these last couple have been questionable.
Yeah. So hopefully they can swing back round. But this was weak. I will say it without a doubt. I enjoyed Titans more than Flash this week. It's not even a competition.
I think I got more enjoyment out of hating Jason than I did out of anything in this episode.
Hey, whatever puts it over the line.
No, legitimately.
Hell, I might even like Titans more than Supergirl this week. I mean, I think Supergirl's a better show overall right now, at least. But that Lena and James stuff drags that episode down something fierce.
It does.
Whereas nothing in the Titans episode lasted long enough to annoy me as much. If anything, that was bad.
I'll be honest, it just wasn't that great a week, was it? Like Legends was spectacular.
Legend was great. Well, we'll talk about a couple of shows to talk about, but yeah, or one show. We got one show to talk about.
Another couple. What am I missing? I panicked.
What I'm saying is, Black Lightning is typically pretty good. Let's not throw that under the bus.
It's typically pretty good, yeah.
Oh, that sounds like a negative implication coming up.
I have thoughts.
You have thoughts. Interesting. Interesting. So maybe fighting on that one. Maybe, I don't know. It depends what the thoughts are. Yeah, Flash was weak sauce this week. Flash was like 90% a turd this week.
Yeah. It's kind of disappointing to get such a shit episode this early in the season.
Yeah. And last week's wasn't much better.
I'm suddenly not feeling so optimistic for the rest of the season.
I had some fun with some things last week, but
yeah, but not for the right reasons.
I like Ragdoll more than you did, but yeah, the best moment was not for the right reasons. Yes, Black Lightning. Black Lightning is next. I totally was not a cut there because I didn't have anything prepared for it. This is season 2, episode 6. It's called The Book of Blood, chapter 2, The Perdi. So here we go. Now I think I know what your complaint's going to be about. Actually, I'm thinking about it.
I think it's pretty obvious, actually.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about Gambi here, right? This is the complaint's coming from.
Yeah,
that's fine. Actually, I was worried I was going to have to fight you on some other stuff, and I was like, "Oh no, wait, it's probably just the Gambi."
There are other things that I have nitpicks and something I don't love, but Gambi was a real problem.
It's weird.
It's not even a problem in that what's in the scene is bad. Nothing is bad.
That's what I mean. I don't think there's any scenes in this episode with Gambi that are bad. Everything's fine.
It's just last week we were kind of a bit confused as to what actually happened, right? And then they left it on this place where we were like, maybe he is dead. You know, they left it Jefferson really actually finally breaking down and going, okay, he's dead.
Which I think we were fine with him being alive, but I was expecting it to last longer than this. Or at the very least,
one of the first things we see in this episode.
Or at the very least, have more of an entrance when he does appear alive. Like, have it be more of a big moment. It just cuts to a scene with him in it.
Yeah, it's weird. The show clearly just expected us to assume that he was alive, which we did, admittedly.
Yeah.
But they made such a big deal of it last week with the characters' reactions that this kind of feels like it undercuts a lot of that, being like, forget about all that, it's fine.
To a point, I think the scenes were handled so well last episode.
They were, yeah.
The way it affects them works, and I think the one thing here that I'll say is that the characters don't know yet. We know, but I don't think we should know that early. I feel like well, that's fair, but the point I'm making here though is that when he does show up, or when they get a hint that he's around,
it should be a big deal.
It'll be a big deal, and I think what will make the drama work, where they're mad at him for not telling them, it'll work because we saw how much it affected them. It won't feel cheap.
It will, yeah, you're right. And I think, do you know what one of my problems is? There's nothing in this. All the Gambi plot is showing us how he survived, right? And that he's looking out for who sent the hit on him.
Yeah, a bit of interrogating and murder, yes.
And I feel like we didn't need to see this. You want to show me how he survived, that's fine. Show me when he's telling Jefferson when he's back. Going, hey, this is what I did. Show me a quick flash then.
Yeah, I mean, because later on he's using a drone. We could have just seen the drone and then maybe questioned, who's the drone? Is the drone Gambi?
Right.
You know, like, we could have questioned that, yeah.
And I just really don't like the way it's played here. It kind of feels so nonchalant, and it loses a lot of weight.
It's kind of weird, but like I say, I think the impact of when they find out, and assuming they're going to be mad at him, because I'm expecting them to be, it won't come off as cheap CW bullshit drama. It'll feel...
no, I'm giving it that benefit as well.
It'll feel earned because we saw how much it hurt them.
Yes,
and it'll have impact because of that. So I think in the long run, it's fine, but it is really weird in this episode to just cut to him.
Really early on in the episode as well.
Yeah, so the second scene.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Because I wouldn't even be mad if it was this episode. Like, let's say he showed up in the big fight towards the end and saved the day, and it was like a big, like, heroic moment where he came out of nowhere. That'd be fine, because that'd be a moment. That'd be... No,
that's fine. It's the way it just cuts to him just being there. And it's like, wait, I guess he's alive then.
Yeah, because I was thinking, is this a flashback or something? Or what's going on? Oh, he's just alive. He's interrogating someone that was trying to kill him. All right, okay.
Yeah.
We're here. So, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. One of the things I want to point out with this episode, though, because typically Black Lightning is generally a better show from a objective point of view than a lot of the other CW shows, right?
Definitely.
That's something we've said for a long time, and I think this episode has a clear sign of that. is how they handle Lynn's reaction to what happened to the kids, the pod kids, last episode.
In what way do you mean?
Her like drinking hard, her like being a wreck around the house. I think even Jennifer tried to talk to her about it, and then actually kind of putting her foot in it a little bit and making her feel worse. It all felt just a lot more hard hitting than what I typically expect from a CW show, where I expect them to be mopey, but I expect by the end of the episode for someone to say the right thing and they'll snap out of it and you know, the kind of thing. This felt a lot more kind of devastating, where she felt appropriately kind of a wreck because people died and that the parents were blaming her.
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything you just said there. I just didn't know exactly what you meant originally when you said, "Oh, it feels different to the season." I mean, I agree. The whole show kind of feels different to most of them.
I think that one stuck out to me though, because I can see this plot playing out on like the Flash or Supergirl and how it's treated.
Yeah, but Barry thinks he kills him. By the end, Iris is like, "It's fine. You didn't do anything wrong."
it's fine. Yes, you're the Flash.
Ah, we're the Flash.
We're the Flash. They've dropped that because I thought it was silly. I still not forgiven them for not having her say we're the Flash, or him say that we're the Flash in her speedster episode.
No.
I'm still not forgiving them for that. Still not forgiving them.
It's coming back. Do you know when it's coming back? That joke.
Yeah.
When Barry vanishes in a crisis and Nora has to take on the mantle of the Flash, and she's like, "I can't be the Flash. I don't know what I'm doing." And Iris, and this is how they'll finally step up and be the Bonner. It's like, "It's fine, Nora. We're the Flash."
Actually, I want to make a weird reference with the Flash. This is a wrestling reference, so just bear with me here for a second.
I'll keep going.
Right. Just think, we're kind of rewinding back to the Flash here, and more specifically back to last week's episode of the Flash. I saw someone kind of make a rough reference like this, and I think I agree with it. I like Iris a lot, right? I think Iris has improved a lot over the show. But the point of that episode last week was to sell Iris to Nora, to sell her on the idea that her mother's awesome, right?
Yeah.
So in wrestling, that's called like you're pushing someone. You're pushing someone to look at a good reaction at the crowd, right? You're selling them to the crowd, sure. And this was the equivalent of Vince McMahon pushing Roman Reigns as hard as humanly possible, and it feeling disingenuous because they go too far. That was Iris jumping off the roof. This is too much. This is ridiculous. She's not this good. She shouldn't be this good. And that's not a critique of the character. I like Iris a lot, but this is too far. This is silly.
It gets to a point of unbelievable.
Yeah. And that's what it was. They were over pushing Iris last, and they don't really need to do that for the audience. I think Iris has been a pretty strong character for a while. This was just for Nora's benefit, but they went too far, and it was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to make that comparison because I thought it was a really apt way of putting it.
Fair.
Not that you know who Roman Reigns is, but everyone.
Not a clue.
Which is funny because one of his moves is called the Superman Punch, which Khalil tries to do in this episode.
The only thing I know about Roman Reigns is I have a vague memory now of someone saying he looked like Jason Momoa.
Oh, he does. He had a whole line for a while where he referred to himself as the guy. That's who he was. He said, "No, I'm the guy." So people started calling him Aqua Guy.
Right. Okay.
And it was a gag for a while. Yeah,
I don't know what the guy actually looks like. I've never seen him. I'm just picturing Jason Momoa.
He does genuinely have a bit of a Jason Momoa kind of vibe. He's got the goatee. He's got the long black hair. He's Samoan. You know, he's got some stuff going there. But yeah. So where were we going back to? So Lynn's a wreck, and that was well done, I thought. Especially when Jennifer basically says, "Yeah, it was your responsibility." I'm like, she doesn't need to hear that right now.
Yeah, that's wrong words. Just stop.
It's like, I want to rub this in because you're always giving me shit for making mistakes. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but your mistakes didn't kill 14 people, you tit.
It's true. So far, yeah, but she's got powers, so she might end up killing 14 people. It's possible. It is.
And she sees Khalil, who Khalil is told to kill the Reverend, because the Reverend tells the is it the mayor of the town who? No,
I think he's a politician, like senator or congressman. I don't think he's mayor.
But he's there because he's already announced that they're going to move the clinic. But the Reverend's like, no. You work for Tobias. I know what his game is. I'm not falling for it. And I had like a feel. This is how well they've built up to Tobias as a villain. Is I immediately felt bad because I knew this was probably going to get him killed. Like, Tobias is going to come for you now. Something bad's going to happen to this Reverend.
I really like the Reverend in this scene.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, look, if you work for Tobias, I feel sorry for you because you're screwed.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you don't, what the hell are you playing at?
No, I liked him in this scene as well. And Tobias tells Khalil to go kill him, and Khalil's like, "Hey, my mom goes to that church," and Khalil's not full on evil, right? That's the thing. Obviously he's working with Tobias, but he's not full on evil yet. And he's like, "No, I don't want to do that." And Tobias is like, "Oh, you'll do it." And he actually decides because he speaks to Jennifer first, kind of tells her what's going on, and then just tries to tell the Reverend to leave town. The classic leave town so no one knows you're alive and I won't have to kill you. He doesn't really do a good job of explaining his predicament, no. He just tells him to leave. And the Reverend's like, "No, I'm not leaving. Why would I leave?"
Can't blame him.
But Khalil can't go through with it. He can't kill him. And he comes back and tells Tobias that. And Tobias initiates a phenomenal scene in which they fight. And I say phenomenal because because when Tobias is like, "I'm going to have to teach you a lesson, son," Khalil just punches him. He just goes for it, like, immediately. And I almost popped a little bit. I was like, oh, that was satisfying. I mean, he's going to get his ass kicked now, but that was satisfying for the second he got away with it.
Do you know what my problem is?
Yeah.
Kind of wanting Tobias to beat him into the ground. Because I felt Khalil is not working for me.
He was probably the most problematic part of season 1, because when he came back and he had the dreads and he was like, painkiller now, or
I even like this episode, like the whole, I'm just, his stuff feels like a bit of a chore when I'm watching it.
I don't feel that badly about it. It's probably my least favorite part of the show still, admittedly. I think it's like down there, but it's not.
It's the only plot that when he has his own plot in this episode, that when we cut to it, I kind of go, oh, all right. Get through this.
I really like this fight scene though. Like Tobias like goading him on in the middle of the fight, and like the way like after he's like beat him up and he kind of comes up and sniffs him a little bit, and he's like, "Oh, you're all right, son. You're all right," and he punches him again. Like all that stuff.
Yeah, the thing I like the stuff where he's with Tobias because I like Tobias. I like Tobias treating him like shit, but I don't think that I'm not interested in any of his side of it. I don't really care about his motivation that much.
What's the word for how you're being right now? You're like to me. I popped when he hit Tobias because Tobias really has it coming, right? Tobias is such a good villain that I am rooting against him because the show's doing its job, and I want to root against them, regardless of who it is that's kind of beating him up for the most part. And yeah, Khalil's kind of less interested in a lot of the other characters, and that's fair. He's a little bit more hackneyed than a lot of the other characters. Yeah. I think this is probably the most interesting he's been, though.
Fair enough. If it's working for you, for me, I kind of found it dull.
Especially since he even realizes that the shooting in the first place that put him in a wheelchair was Tobias. He kind of learns that this episode. So he's got a reason to want to kind of rebel against him.
He does.
If and when the time comes. But I liked how the fish tank didn't break when he threw him into it. We just got this thud.
Yeah.
And then it breaks later on. And he's like, "God damn it, Khalil, you broke my fish tank."
What a dick.
I like this. Actually, speaking of things I like, I was feeling the guitar at the start when it was cutting around people. It ended with Lynn crying in the bed, but there was this like guitar in the score.
Yeah, it was pretty nice.
I was feeling that. That was good.
Yeah, it was alright.
That was good. I'll tell you what else I'm kind of feeling, actually. The Looker. This new villain we've got.
Okay.
You weren't feeling this?
Not yet.
I was into it.
I don't hate it. I'm not really into it yet.
It was it was the scene specifically because they set her up at the start a little bit. We see her, and she's fine. It was a scene where she's literally puppeting everyone in the fight. Like, we're having this big fight with Nyssa and Black Lightning, and they're protecting these people, the Perdi, against the Sanjays.
Yes.
or this Sanjay. I don't know if it's plural, but the Sanjay. And they're protecting them, and the people have like more speed and strength when they're being controlled by her, because she's got the element, which was the silver liquid metal stuff that we saw last episode.
Yes.
And it was when it was cutting back to her, because the fight itself was pretty good. Like, Black Lightning's doing his thing and it's cutting around.
Yeah, can't argue with that.
And it cuts back to her, and she's got like the liquid metal coming down from her fingers, and it's like puppet strings.
Yes.
And it's getting into like this guy's face. it was kind of working for him. It was so maniacal and kind of evil looking.
Fair enough. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't grabbing me.
I don't know. I was into this. I was kind of feeling this.
Yeah, fair enough.
And this is before we even get to the perhaps the more interesting, like, dramatic side of this, where this is kind of a race war between these two groups, and the Perdi, like, the pregnant woman we met, and why they went to a clinic that was, you know, in a different town. You know, it was in North Freeland. I don't actually call it that. I think it's just Freeland and South Freeland, but you know, you know what I mean. Is because she's having this baby with someone from the rival gang, and both these gangs, if you want to call them that. I mean, that feels like the wrong term here in this case, but they are so in hatred of each other racially that even her parents, when they see that this is like one of the babies is white, they want to reject it immediately. Like the deaf father's kind of like try to hand it off. He doesn't want to even touch it. He's like, no, take it.
Yeah, I think it was it Nissa's reaction when she saw the kids was just like, oh shit. Someone was kind of like along those lines.
I don't think it was because I don't think Nissa knew about their feelings on the matter until after. Because she was confused during when the dad was trying to hand off the baby.
No, I think it was when Nissa just saw the babies for the first time and was like, "Oh, hang on, they're different. Okay, this is complicated."
Oh, okay, sure.
I think it was her reaction to that it got me a chuckle.
Yeah, but yeah, because her reaction in general when she like discovers how much they hate each other and how this is a problem, was kind of a thing. And the parents do get killed. Although Blacklight and Jefferson lies about it. Because Nissa's asking him over the comms, and he doesn't quite see the dad actually, but he definitely sees the mum in the car.
Yeah,
I noticed her, and he's like, "Oh, I don't see them." I mean, it's not much of a lie, but it's just enough to say, "Oh, they might not be dead." I'll just let her think that for now. And he shows up because, of course, she takes a tracker with her, which is how Gambi knows about it as well, because he can still track all his shit.
Obviously, yeah.
And he shows up with a drone. No, I thought this fight scene was pretty good. Like I say,
it was, yeah.
The looker was kind of working for me. And at the end, they've got one baby, and she's like, "Oh, we need to find the other one." And how dare one of you sleep with the enemy? And yada yada. And they've got the cop that we saw last episode, and all the rest of it. Joe, I'm digging it. I think because it's such a meta villain compared to, because Tobias is stronger, sure, and he's whatever, but he's still fairly down to earth.
As they mentioned here, she's 30 years. She's one of the original. Yeah, the original metas from around Jefferson's time. Who
clearly does not age, kind of like Tobias, because she does not look like because they say she's been around like with her powers for 30 years.
Yes.
So unless she was like a small child when she took control of people, which she might have been, I guess. With these powers, she could have theoretically, I suppose.
Could have been, yeah.
Then she's probably just not aging, at least not quickly.
Yeah, makes sense.
No, I was feeling this Blacklight. I was digging this new villain. I was into it.
No, fair enough. I mean, I don't think it's a bad episode. I think the show's still got a baseline quality. Obviously, I wasn't as into this villain, and I'm not really feeling the Khalil stuff. I don't hate the villain though. It just wasn't grabbing me.
I'm into the villain. I think that's why I'm feeling so positive on this one. Oh, obviously, I agree with some of the Gambi complaints. Yeah.
That's my real complaint. Where the other one was just I wasn't as into it.
And I think this is maybe Khalil actually being conflicted properly, not pussyfooting around it, like actually conflicted hard, in a hard way about having to kill someone or not. I think it's made, and try to fight back has actually made him the most interesting he's been. I think.
Sure.
I think the biggest problem with Khalil in the first season was this weird transition from supposed to be a high school student to what he was as Painkiller, like just a few episodes later.
Yeah.
That was one of the hardest things to swallow in season 1, which was obviously a pretty good season otherwise. But, yeah. Now this is just what he is, so it's like I can almost just kind of forget maybe, like...
No, I get that.
What his origin was for the most part.
It's not even just that his origin, it just... No, he just doesn't interest me as a character very much. Unfortunately.
Yeah, you have been having a bad week if you didn't even like this one as much.
Yeah, maybe I just wasn't in a great mood today when I was watching them. But I still think this is a good show overall, and I still think it's a solid episode. And it's probably, to spoil too much, it's going to come in second in my rankings for the week. I don't think it's a bad episode. I did have genuine problems with the Gambi stuff. The rest of it just was bits not adding up to work to me, but there was really good stuff as well, like Lynn, that I was really into. So it's not all bad by any means.
All right. Well, I mean, Connor living up to he's the negative one character of the show. Well, not even just this show, just all the shows we do, all the reviews.
Just life.
We do. Yeah. But yeah, so that does take us on to picking our favourite episode of the week. Which I think for you obviously is going to be Legends, right?
Yeah. I mean, what do you want from me?
Yeah. I'm a bit more conflicted because Legends had a great episode, but I thought Black Lightning had a great episode as well. I think they typically end up being the two that are fighting right now, unless one of the others has a standout episode. Whether that's the Liberty episode of Supergirl or the Doom Patrol episode of Titans.
I'm a little concerned that episode of Supergirl is going to end up being the best of the season. It peaked already. I
mean, even this week it was still much better than Flash. So
it was.
So I mean, if we get at least, even if we just get like half good episodes for the rest of the season, it's probably still going to outpace Flash by quite a margin.
Yeah, we're kind of down on Flash right now.
It's had a couple of weak episodes. It's rough.
And usually we'd go, well, it's only a couple of episodes, but after the last couple of seasons, that feels like, oh, are we slipping back to that?
I'm hoping for a good one next week, just so it perks us back. Because at least if we get into the habit of, if we have 1 and 3 that are good, then we can feel kind of optimistic to a point.
For a while, yeah.
Yeah, where it's not all bad, but yeah, hopefully next week wins us back a little bit. Which I probably said last week as well. I think I have to go with Black Lightning, actually.
Yeah, fair enough.
Despite the Gambit problems, I think it's just the better produced show. It's the better written show for sure.
That's fair.
It just is. But Legends did surprise me with a couple of moments, and it was tons of fun, like usual.
Like Legends having its Hiroshima speech. That interview, you say, Black Lightning is the better written show, as a rule, is probably true. But then you have moments like that on Legends, which are above and beyond what I expect from anything on the CW. Yeah,
so I guess Legends and Black Lightning will continue to fight out for what's the best of the week whilst they're both on.
Which might be a different competition after Christmas once Titans swaps out.
So Black Lightning will just be winning every week for the most part, and then Legends will win every week for the most part.
But we're going to have Young Justice.
Oh, that's true. I never even thought of that. That'd be in contention. That's a good point. We'll have Young Justice.
If Young Justice is on par with the first couple of seasons, it could be in that conversation.
Yeah, it's got a fight. It's got a fight on its hand if it is. And then Krypton will eventually be on, so we'll see when that comes in. But I'm not expecting that till spring.
No, and by the time we're getting that, we'll have Swamp Thing.
Oh yeah, Swamp Thing may be good.
It could be. We've not really seen anything yet, so who knows? But
yeah, it was a rough week. It's a rough week when I actually think Arrow was better than Flash. And it's funny because one of our regulars was criticizing the comments that we're too harsh on Arrow a lot of the time. But you know what? So I'll give you one. I'll throw you a bone. Arrow was better than Flash this week. I'll admit it.
It probably was.
I'll admit it.
It was more boring because I found it exceptionally dull, this episode of Arrow, but it was not as offensively bad as usual. Whereas Flash, I actively was like, no, this is awful.
Arrow has the worst villain, though. Diaz is terrible. I mean, Cicada's terrible, but Cicada has potential to be good terrible. Like he's inching towards so hammy that it could be fun.
Diaz is just miserable.
Diaz is just miserable, yes. So, I mean, that whole scene where he's like, oh, Felicity, go on, shoot me. Oh, you don't have the Gahonas, or whatever he said. Wasn't Gahonas. It was the equivalent, though. Yeah, so anyway, that has been another week of DC's TV offerings, and we'll be back next time with more. And like we said at the start, make sure you go to the YouTube page, MailFuzz TV, and go to the community tab and look for the poll for what to do with the off-season shows. Do you want us to continue with Do you want to continue with Smallville and Lois and Clark? I was meaning Lois and Clark, but I want to say Superman because it's a Superman show.
I was going. There's no way you can spin this into
Superville. Do you want us to keep Smallville and Lois and Clark, or do you want us to shift to 2 other shows? And the idea being that when we finish like seasons of those shows, we'd swap either back or maybe swap back to one of them and rotate a new one in.
Yeah, we'll worry about that after we get through these seasons.
So go vote on that, and of course you can head over to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV if you want to support the show and the channel and everything we do here. It's a big help to us if you do, and go see what's on offer and bonuses and goodies you can get and stuff like that. But yeah, otherwise, guys on Twitter at DC Comics Podcast, like, subscribe, let us know what you thought of the episodes this week in the comments below. And otherwise, that is us. So thank you very much once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. And always remember that sometimes we screw things up for the better.